Hi guys, so welcome to Introduction to Python for Data Science. In this lesson, we are going to be talking about data types. In our last lesson, we talked about creating variable labels and rules for creating variable labels. And so what we're going to do is that we are going to talk about creating strings. A string is a data type, so it's the value you assign to a variable is one of them. So there are other types, there are other data types, but we're going to be starting off with a string. Now, as you can see, a string is a series of characters. It could be anything inside a single quote, a double quote, or a triple quote, and it could either be a letter, a series of letters, a single word. So what we're going to do is that we are going to create variables and assign them string values, right? So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to like put something in context. We're going to talk about, say, a footballer. So we say footballer underscore name. And so we're going to write our first variable with a string as its data type, which is the value inside of the string is the data type is going to be a string. So to start off, you can create a string with a single quote. So you can see that now. So I'm going to write Messi here. And so we have created this. So here we have assigned a value to a variable, right? So basically, with that, you can see that there's a single quote. If we just simply call footballer name, you can see that there's that single quote on it. Now, the next is we are going to create another variable, but this time around, we're going to have it with a double quote. Now, we're still going to say first underscore f underscore name. We're still looking at the football thing, so we're writing out Messi's first name. So we're going to say Lionel, right? And that's with a double quote, right? So if we have this, and then I'm intentionally not using the print statement so that it doesn't print to string. When it does that, it takes away, you wouldn't see the single or double quotes. So, but again, does it really matter? Again, so when you see that, it still has the single quote, but however, we created with a double quote, so which means it works. Right. Next thing we're going to do is we are going to create. So here is a value with a single quote. Here is a variable, or rather a string with double quotes. So so that's a string with double quotes, and the final part of it is we're gonna call, what are we gonna call? Okay, club underscore name, and then we could use triple quotes. You can see that PSG, that's Messi's recent club, and again we have that. So now we've created that, and we put club underscore name. You see that really different. So it's different. So yeah, we could choose to put it in like this, it still works. We could choose to, drop it down, or still works. You can see that still works. But yeah, so we just put space here. Again, it works. But you can see the different situations that you can use to set up. It's also a doc string, but we'll talk about that in maybe later lessons. Right. So again, we have created a string, single quote, double quote, triple quotes. And yeah, so it's just about that. You want to print a string, you use the print statement, and that makes it easier. Now, somebody may ask, why do we have to use a double quote? So there's a question that often pops up even during my classes is why a double or why a single quote instead of a double quote, or vice versa. A double quote, right? So sometimes you might write a series of letters or a series of characters, and that will be interesting. So for instance, I want to say history, and this is me creating a variable name, history underscore Messi. Then I want to say I use a single quote and I write Messi's favorite food, or Messi's preferred food. Foot is left. Now you can already see that something weird is already happening in this environment, in this cell, that the first message just seems to be excluded because it feels like it's just the first value, the string. So I run this, there's an invalid syntax because it's looking over here and it's thinking what's going on over here. Now again, if I copy this and this time around I use a double quote, now that makes up for the apostrophe that you found there or that you saw there. So that makes it easy. Also, just so you know, right, there are other ways in which you can, play around with the apostrophe. Again, if I do this, I can also choose to put a backslash here, and this should work. So even if I say history underscore Messi, you can see that it, looks really good. So yeah, just a little bit of that just makes for a little lesson in using apostrophes with strings. So recap, we talked about strings. It's a series of characters, could be a letter, could be a word, and strings are created with single quotes, double quotes, triple quotes. And then we also answer the question, why a single quote instead of a double quote, or vice versa. Why do we have to have a double quote over a single quote? And I showed you the apostrophe, the case of the apostrophes, and of course just introduced the backslash, which also works when you are trying to make up for an apostrophe in a series of characters. So I hope you picked up creating a variable here. Simple stuff, Python variables, easy to create, starting off your Python learning. Right, so you liked this video, share, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.